hey man, you ever look into flat Earth? It's got to be some CIA psyop, kind of like Scientology. It's got to be like Scientology, where they're just checking to see how stupid people are. Hey, the Earth is flat? It's ridiculous. I'm like, I had an iPhone 4. I saw the picture of the Earth, that blue marble, on my goddamn iPhone, my smartphone. Every day, that was the default. I go, there's no way you're going to convince me. I mean, like, it had to be CIA psyop. And then that's it. Please, flat Earth. That's got to be the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
You're like, no, that's too crazy for me.
It's got to be the most
Dinosaurs aren't real, but flat Earth.
I'm like, please, you're distracting from the real issues here that we have to deal with, the real issues. And he said, okay. And I told him, just please, zip it. And all of a sudden, I just wanted to debunk him. I go, that's the dumbest thing ever. And he said, hey, listen, man, I got a master's in engineering. Look into it. You do the math. You do the science. And I'm like, dude, I'm no scientist. But I could prove that the world is round in 1 minute. So we're texting each other back and forth. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Well, what was it about the theory? What was it about the theory that just got you? Where you're like,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
And the sun is 3,000 miles away.
But did you debunk him, or did he?
No, I went home. I went home, and I go, I'm just going to find a picture. It's really simple. There's got to be tens of thousands of pictures of Earth from space. I don't need any science. I don't need an engineering degree. I don't need how to put numbers together and all this stuff. Just I'm going to show you pictures, many pictures, and I'm going to text them to you, show you pictures of Earth from space. So you go to Google and you'll pictures of Earth from space. And you look at them, and obviously, like right away, I thought, these are all CGI cartoons. There should be tens of thousands of real, actual pictures. So then I started looking into it, and then I thought, and these pictures are coming from the NASA website, nasa.gov. I'm like, NASA is in charge of space information?
Doesn't have pictures?
And I already thought, okay, NASA faked multiple moon missions.
You believe we didn't?
Absolutely not.
60 years ago, when the Russians beat us into space, we didn't deny Sputnik was up there. We didn't argue about the science or shrink our research and development budget. We built a space program almost overnight, and 12 years later, we were walking on the moon.
Proceeded. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector grid. X5.
Dan sat in the pilot's seat during this operation, sort of monitoring the motion of the vehicle, making sure that it was steady and that there were very few vibrations of any sort. Here's a picture of the INSAT actually being deployed from the spacecraft. You can see that the deploy went very smoothly.
Here it is. If you look at like the fuel that was loaded up into the Saturn V rocket, you can calculate where that fuel could take that rocket. It's to the moon and back. So they're not going to the Piggly Wiggly, right? Yeah. In the Saturn V.
It seems weird to me when I look at the press conference and I see Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins nervous and weird and obviously like being deceptive after they came back.
They faked 6 moon missions.
But that doesn't matter. These are not the same people.
So because they're different people, they're not going to. I don't understand that logic.
Well, the logic is just because someone faked something one point in time before you were alive, doesn't mean that those same human beings have managed to download their brains into everybody that ever did that job for the rest of time, because they're not the same humans.
This curtain of debris that has been jettisoned by this 2.3 metric ton impact. So that's where we are.
But Jim, is it your understanding that it has successfully impacted? Because it doesn't sound like we've seen a plume.
So Jim, this right now is the point of view from the L-Cross lunar probe. It's going to crash into the surface of the moon in about a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and it's supposed to fly through all this 6-mile high debris field. And it's at that point that the craft will detect whether or not there's water in the atmosphere, right? Or rather, kicked up.
Right, Jim Garvin? Yes, that's one of the ways we can tell. The shepherding spacecraft has instruments in the near-infrared, the mid-infrared, that can detect the signatures of water in different phases, particularly a gas phase. So we'll see how much is there down to 1%. We can now see the event coming on behind me right now. And then other observatories will see the effect after the fact.
What do we just say, Jim? Do you think we just saw the dust plume?
NIR2 to OPR.
We just saw it.
Trouble in space this morning as the International Space Crew attempted a spacewalk outside the station. Here's a live look at the astronauts. Well, I don't believe that's... Yeah.
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon.
From Mark Cameron. This is from Mark Cameron.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Yeah.
All
because
the
you can
time.
see. Because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
You can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the Milky
you
Way
see
galaxy.
The Magellan.
sky, of course, was black, but it had sort of a velvet sheen to it.
The biggest visual surprise was just how black the sky was. You have a brilliant sun, brighter than any sun you normally would see, even here in New Mexico. You have these extraordinarily high mountains. We were in a valley deeper than the Grand Canyon. But then you have this black sky, a sky blacker than black, as the old Vidicon expression used to be.
I've often tried to explain the difference between darkness, when you turn out the lights and it's dark in here, or blackness. Blackness is the endlessness of it all. It's hard to comprehend.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Since the moon has no atmosphere, then a daytime picture, if you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well. You don't see stars in the daytime on Earth, not because they're not there, but because the atmosphere is aglow.
In 2013, a gallon of water leaked into one of their spacesuits in a matter of seconds. NASA doesn't really have a proper explanation for how on earth this could have happened. In this vid, you catch a glimpse of someone wearing a scuba tank.
Some of the stuff that they passed off as being legitimate photographs of space travel was actually test runs where they blacked out the background and pretended that they were in space. Some of the stuff that they filmed, they made out to look like they were on the moon when they were not. But does that mean they didn't go to the moon?
A moon rock given to the Dutch Prime Minister by Apollo 11 astronauts in 1969 has turned out to be petrified wood. Gotta be kidding me.
Why aren't there any pictures of space? I used to have, I probably threw them away now, unless they're in storage, but stacks and stacks of DVDs, space series, BBC, The Universe, Morgan. I would just take my natural medicines and watch over and over and every now and then, every now and then I'm watching these space documentaries. Me and Joe Rogan, just space documentary after space documentary, over and over, the same ones we'd watch. And every now and then I think to myself, it's weird that we're not watching any actual footage of space. It's all CGI. Oh, but that's okay. And then we just keep watching and then I think about that. It is kind of weird that how the hell do they know what this looks? How the hell do they know that star and that galaxy are 500,000 light years apart? And then I just watch it, and then I'm trying to remember everything, trying to be really smart. So when people start talking about space, I go, did you know the sun is 93 million miles away from the planet?
Well,
I'm just taking this information. So now, as soon as I find out that these fake pictures of Earth from space, like I don't know why it should be any, they're coming from NASA. And then you look into it, and they admit it. They go, yes, these are all like composites, CGI. So NASA's not even saying they're real pictures. Why? And then... don't we have Hubble? Why don't you point it at the Earth and get some awesome shots of where we live? How come Hubble's not taking any pictures?
Well, if you follow the astronauts on Twitter.
I guess this is a photo of the Hubble telescope taking a picture of itself. Unbelievable.
As a society, we're so scientifically illiterate, you know, and that causes so much room for speculation. And you're kind of a prisoner of people who are masters of their craft, you're kind of a prisoner to their quote unquote agenda. I don't want to put that bad of a term on it, but you're kind of a prisoner of that because we don't have any choice but to take their word for it or to pursue it yourself.
Right, to learn about what they're talking about yourself, to know if they're right or not.
Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely the case, right?
We don't have to trust the people that are telling you the result.
Yeah. There's so much fraud when you look into
Astronomy
it. I'm like, I don't
doesn't
trust
come from the
shit.
ghosts.
Look into it.